What's going on YouTube? H-Dub here, and we playing Raid, and today we're going to be talking about another rare champion that I have found use for even in the end game. He does come in handy. He has a pretty versatile kit, and I hope that you can find some use for him as well. Now, I only have this champion leveled up because I did use them when I was around the mid game area. So if you're in the early game, the mid game, you're looking to make some progression in faction wars, some other areas of the game, this guy Abyssal is definitely a rare that you can invest a little bit in over time. You don't have to 60 him right away, but as you are progressing in faction wars, the demon spawn faction, and in other areas of the game, he might come in handy for you. Now, let's just go over his kit really quickly, just so I can show you guys why I was using him. On his A1, he attacks all enemies, has a 15% chance of placing a block buff debuff for 2 turns. This is the main reason why I leveled this champion up. When I was hunting for Lydia, when I was trying to get factions done in demon spawn, this guy came in the clutch. Now obviously if you have a umbral, you can use umbral as well for block buffs, but this guy has block buffs on the A1, and at that time I was using him in a relentless set to get that block buffs up, because that faction at the highest stage, you're going to need block buffs. Otherwise, it's just annoying unless you just have OP damage dealers, which I don't in that faction. I don't have OP damage dealers in that faction. No Candra Fawn, you know, any of those other guys people were building for damage. I didn't have them when I beat the faction with 3 stars. This guy was the one who really made it happen just because of this skill. On his A2, he also has a heal that comes in handy. I don't have a Duchess. I didn't have too many champs to use that provided me with protection. I did not have a reviver, so I had to get very creative, and this guy is going to heal all allies by 15% of their max HP. Now, the only thing with this skill is it is by their max HP, so if you are using him in demon spawn faction trying to get it cleared, you're going to want to build them with decent HP. One way to do that is to just put all of the champions in immortal gear and let them cruise through on auto, healing time after time. You may need to put another champ in relentless right with him, but for the most part you can do this in any faction. If you're trying to clear any faction, put the champs in immortal gear, right? We get immortal from clan boss every day. You're gonna get a chance to get some immortal gear every day, depending on how long you've been playing the game. You've had a lot of chances to get immortal gear, right? We've got a lot of people that are, you know, 90 days in or so, 100 days in, getting their arbiter, still have not cleared faction wars. So just a tip for you guys, if you are working on faction wars, put your champs in immortal gear. You will be fine. You will get through it. It's gonna be slow, but you don't have to do it fast. You only have to beat it one time to get your Lydia. So build those champs with immortal. You're gonna get a bonus from using the set that increases the HP. So immortal is a great set to go for those other champions that you're gonna be pairing around him. On his A3, he plays a 30% increased defense and a 25% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. We know that this is the small decreased defense and the small increased attack, but still give you a little survivability and potentially a little damage if you are bringing an attack-based champion into the comp. He also has a speed aura that is for faction crypts. Now, if I didn't make it clear enough by just breaking down his kit, this is why I used him in faction wars. He was made specifically for this faction. You want to get block buffs up in this faction, trust me. All right, I don't even have full masteries on this guy because at the time I just got what I could get. You know, I didn't want to fully invest in a rare for faction wars, but I got some things that could help me through. I went and got the heals here, HP. We went down this way, lay on hands. We went healing savior. We went merciful aid, and we went with cycle of magic, so we could try to get back down to that heal as fast as possible and also increase the amount of healing that he is putting out. We went down the attack tree just to get a little bit of damage because he wasn't relentless as well. So he's going to be taking turns hitting everybody with that A1 over and over and over again, right? We use the A3 when we need, but for the primary use of him is to just keep using his A1 and heal, keep using his A1 and heal, keep using his A1 and heal. So I didn't feel like I needed to go all the way down, but if you go all the way down, you will not be upset. Trust me, this guy gets a lot of use. Right now, I have him in a stun set. I know I talked up the relentless set on him, but I feel like the stun set is the most versatile set to have on him for overall use, right? So I'm also using this champion in the spirit rare room. That's why you see, you know, if I move my camera, we got a bunch of other spirit rares here. I went through, I cleared all of my Doom Tower hard rooms before the rotation reset just, you know, yesterday. So I had to, you know, take a look at his gear, make sure he was good, threw him in a quick stun set. It's not even anything crazy with the stats, all right? He has 49k HP, barely any defense, barely any attack, 224 speed, which is decent. It's enough for him to go twice before, you know, the opponents go in that room. And just some accuracy so we can make sure that we're landing that block buffs. Now, the chance to land block buffs obviously is not great, but if you have him in relentless, he's going to be taking multiple turns, get an opportunity to take more than one turn. If you have him in stun, he's going to be placing stun along with that block buffs, and if he stuns them, you won't even need the block buffs in Faction Wars. So however you want to get him for Faction Wars is up to your own discretion, right? But great champion nonetheless. And obviously I've not like crazily maxed him out or anything like that. Obviously I can have way better gear on him. These are the other champs right here that I used in the faction. So I used 2 soul bonds, both in stun. We got Abyssal in stun. We use Corpulent Cadaver, who is in full immortal here. And we also use Templar. Now, I know that this is not a Doom Tower Hard Secret Room video, but I was just, you know, I just felt like I should show you guys the people that I put around him to make this happen. And I felt like he was a great champ to go in that secret room. I already had him at 60. He's already booked. Doesn't have full masteries, but that's fine. You know, obviously Templar has full masteries because I used him to cheese Bommel, which is something that you guys can also do. We've got Bommel right now, so Templar is definitely a great champion to use in Bommel. Corpulent Cadaver, I do have full masteries on just because he was an awesome champion for that secret room, and he's also used in the rare HP room as well. Soul Bond, no masteries. Neither one of them have masteries, all right? All I did was book them and gear them. I did not put masteries on them. Soul Bond, no, is another great champion. Can be used in the Spider Dungeon if you do not have Cold Hearts and you pull a couple of her. I've got a few more sitting in the vault. I might level up another one. They don't necessarily need masteries, all right? They just need decent gear, and they need to be paired with decent champions. They also can be used in multiple secret rooms in multiple areas of the game. These are just some awesome rare champions to invest in. If you're in the early game, if you're in the mid game, you're trying to make some progression in other areas of the game that aren't dungeons, that aren't, you know, arena, what have you. We have rare champions in this game that, you know, they come in handy, guys. So don't feel like you always need the epics. Don't feel like you need all of the legendaries, because if you're free to play, if you're light spent, you're not going to have all of the resources to max those champions and have them be most effective for you. So always be on the lookout for rares, guys. Always be on the lookout for the top rares in the game that can help you. Matter of fact, just look at every rare. Every rare that you pull, you need to be studying their kit to really see how they can, you know, you can find some synergy for them with the other champions on your account, and you can make some progression. Because I don't know if, you know, I might have seen someone else using Abyssal on YouTube. I don't know that I've seen too many people, but I'm sure someone has. All right, I didn't go look that up really quickly on YouTube. I don't know. All right, I'm sure someone has though, but I'm just bringing this to you guys to show them the build. I can't showcase it right now just because we got about 3 days until Demon Spawn opens, and then I can potentially showcase it if someone's interested, or if, you know, I mean, you can test it yourself to see if it works. I'm telling you it works though. All right, trust me, it works. Obviously the spirit rare room is closed now. That was last rotation, so if we get a room this rotation where I get an opportunity to use him, I 100% will, and I will showcase it for you. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching. I hope I brought you some insightful information. if you are in the early game, if you're trying to get some things together, the mid game, what have you, this is another option for you guys aside from the usual suspects. So until next time, be good and be well.